And timing was very critical when we were in combat situation in Vietnam, because they had a point. They wanted the bomb set down at a certain time, plus or minus, I think it was 30 seconds. We were effective enough that some of the Marines in the Army loved us, because they would have to go into these jungles. It's so dark, 4 feet in, and you couldn't see anything. But we would go down through there and we'd make a run maybe 2 miles long. And when those bombs went off, and you're talking about 12 airplanes coming through, one right after another, it cleared things out pretty good. I volunteered in July 1 of '64 for the Air Force, in which case they sent me to OCS, and then from there I got slotted for navigator on the B-52 crew. Initially I wanted to be a fighter pilot, but I learned later that if you're married and you have a family, alert's not all bad. You can't wait until something happens. You got to be prepared, and that was the motto they had. We would be on alert for 7 days, and then we would get off and we'd fly 1 or 2 training missions, and by the 2nd or 3rd week off, we'd be back on alert again. And we would get briefings every day, the crew would. We had training sessions, safety type of things, flying and all of this. And after I got to flying for a while, it was old hat, it was easy. And that's when you have a tendency to say, sort of take things for granted, and you say, wow, I could have missed that time, I better shape it up. And you have to kick yourself in the fanny every now and then to make yourself realize that, hey, things are not just automatic. And you can get into trouble just by taking things for granted. So you want to do the best you can. Being the navigator on lead crew, I was awake not only 5 hours before briefing time, 16 hours into the flight, and 2 hours debriefing, 22 hours at a time. And I'm telling you, co-pilot myself got a little groggy. He would try to keep me awake, and I'd try to keep him awake. And because you're sitting up there for an hour or so, and all you hear is air flying by. And unless somebody says something, and you're supposed to keep quiet unless you had some commands to pass back to the planes, and you just, because they had a radar, and they had the radar on us and following us. But gave you perseverance, also gave you an appreciation for what people can go through and have to go through, and you learn to appreciate what you have, that's for sure.